Hello, today we remember the death in 2002 of John Thaw, one of Britain's most loved actors. In fact, in a poll, he came third after David Jason and Morecambe and Wise. And his parts in The Sweeney or in Morse endeared him to many of us. He was a character who described himself as an introvert. And it's interesting what we can learn about the way he dealt with things that happened to him that he wasn't too keen on. He apparently had a habit if something went wrong or needed lightning on the set when he was preparing for one of his television programs. He would suddenly break into a dance, a song. The sun has got its hat on, and with the accompanying tap dancing, just to lighten the mood, cracking a joke to deal with something that's difficult and awkward. Or, as an introvert, of course, the opposite was perhaps more often his response. And Tom Courtenay describes an occasion when they were both students and they met each other in the queue at the lunch in the canteen, and Tom Courtenay says that John Thaw was wearing a grey sweater in a manner that brooked no interruption. He clearly didn't want to be disturbed, and when Tom Courtenay did try and strike up a conversation, all he got was a very gruff grunt. So that's another way of dealing with something we don't want to know about. And another, of course, is just to ignore it. Sheila Hancock, who, as we know, became his wife, says that this was very often his way of doing something. If he didn't want to think about something, he would just pretend it hadn't happened. Something which some people find easier to do than others. It made me wonder, thinking about John Thaw in this respect, how we deal with things that happen to us that we don't particularly want to think about or upset us. Or how do we make a joke? Do we go into ourselves and become gruff people? Or do we just try and forget it? It's worth reflecting on what our mechanism is for dealing with these kinds of issues. But I think what we need to remember is that whatever method we choose, it needs to be loving, and I think we get the ability very often to deal with things that happen to us in a way that's loving towards those close to us, or even those who might be responsible for what's upset us, by getting strength from other people, particularly people we're close to. And John Thaw's relationship with Sheila Hancock clearly had that effect. He said about Morse, the character that he played, that he thought he could go it on his own until he discovered too late that he needed other people. And quite possibly this is something John Thaw was actually saying about himself. But in the end he did find love with Sheila Hancock, and they did face life together with equanimity and with courage and with love. And I think if we can find support and love from not necessarily a partner but a close friend, that will enable us to find the love within us, that whether we deal with it outwardly with a joke or with briskness, or by trying to forget, that whatever we do to respond to things that go against us, we'll do it in a loving way, because we've gained support from the people who we find love with and who share our lives with us.